panel, CBN senior White House correspondent Kelly Wright and Gabriel Noronha. He is the former special advisor for Iran and now serves as the president of Polaris National Security. Gentlemen, welcome. Kelly, to you first. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt spoke to reporters today. You were there. Did she give any sense on how the president might be leaning?
Well, she did. And basically, the president is moving slow and deliberately. She went on to tell reporters at the White House briefing today that President Trump is holding off making a final decision for 2 weeks, allowing time for negotiations, if any negotiations can be had with Iran. Keep in mind, the president has always wanted to have negotiations for a peaceful diplomatic end to all of this and not resort to warfare. The president making it very clear through this that he is going to hold off for another 2 weeks before making a final decision. So the world still watches to see what he will decide to do. And that gives him time, by the way, to confer with members of Congress as well.
Yeah. Gabriel, how much damage has Israel actually done to Iran's nuclear program so far?
Israel has wiped out almost the entire chain of production, from the mining of uranium enrichment, the enrichment facilities themselves, the weaponization, the research facilities, with one big exception, that being the Fordow site, which conducts about 3 of the 5 major elements of the chain of nuclear production. Again, that's the one that's highly buried under a mountain, is most fortified and most difficult to take out. But without that program and Fordow, there's no way for Iran to get a nuclear weapon for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, Kelly, here at home, we are seeing the division play out pretty publicly within the Republican Party. Parts of the MAGA base saying no more forever wars. They don't want the U.S. to intervene here. What's the White House doing to manage that backlash? And do you sense that it's having any effect on the president's decision-making behind the scenes?
So, look, I can tell you that it does not have any impact on the president's decision-making. He's conferring with his national security team. He will ultimately confer with some members of Congress. He realizes that there are some fissures within MAGA as well as within his base within the Republican Party. But here's what the president is stating through White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt today. She says that the president is concerned about finding a peaceful negotiation and getting this process to an end. And to those who distrust him, she said, trust President Trump, that he will make the right decision. And it would appear that he's listening to a lot of voices to get wise counsel on how to proceed with this, giving a 2-week decision-making process.
For years, we've heard about Iran building an axis of resistance with these proxy groups throughout the region. Those proxies right now, at least, they are not in this conflict. Could that change, though, if the U.S. joins the fight?
Well, I think Hamas is entirely off the board. They're entirely decimated. Hezbollah is maybe about 1/5 of where they were a year ago, so almost entirely out themselves. They've made the decision, and the Lebanese government has basically enforced it, that they're out of this as well. That only really leaves the Houthis, who are 1,000 miles away, who don't have that much capability anymore after the series of U.S. airstrikes. And let me tell you that the Russians, the Chinese, the Arabs, they're all staying out of this. The Arabs are secretly thrilled, and they're very happy with the Israeli strikes on Iran. And so, no, Iran is left to its own defense, which is crumbled. And again, they do not have many cards right now.
Yeah. We see European leaders making a diplomatic push, and they're expected to meet with Iranian officials tomorrow. Kelly, is there still a path to de-escalation, or do you think that window's already closed?
I don't think the window's closed. If you go to what Karoline Leavitt said today during the White House press briefing, it's very much open to de-escalate this and get to a place of negotiating for a peace. Keep in mind, the president has been doing this. He gave Iran 60 days to come up with, just to come to the table to negotiate for a peace deal. They did not. And on the 61st day, that's when Israel struck. And the results of that, as the president has attested to, has been devastating for Iran, its regime, and its military status. He's also asked people to leave Tehran, knowing that there was impending destruction of some of the sites there in Tehran. The bottom line is, this is a president who has stated very clearly that he wants peace. But make no bones about it, he does not believe that Iran should ever have its hands on a nuclear weapon. He's made that abundantly clear dating back to 2011 before he even ran for the presidency.
Yeah. Gabriel, as we watch these tensions escalate, we all wait with bated breath. What are you watching for in the days and weeks to come?
I'm watching for two things. One is the question of Israeli defenses and whether they have enough interceptors to counter the incoming Iranian missiles that are coming. And at the same side, I'm looking at the Iranian ability to project offensively. Their number of missiles they've been able to fire in each salvo has decreased from about 100 per salvo on the first day of the war down to about 25. And so the question is, does Iran have any recourse to actually impose damage on Israel, on U.S. bases and U.S. ships, or whether they're basically floundering by themselves? I think we're going to see the Iranian capabilities continue to diminish. But the key question, which folks have not talked about, is how much longer Israel can sustain its own air defenses.
Yeah, it's a good question. Kelly, a final thought.
Well, real quickly to add to what Gabriel just talked about, Iran finds itself in a very precarious position without any help to get beyond that. This president of the United States, according to Caroline Leavitt, is someone who's going to watch. He's going to move with slow and deliberate speed. He's going to use wise counsel from his team, as well as some members of Congress, and he's going to make a decision within the next 2 weeks. It's just that clear and simple. The world would have to watch and see what takes place, but he wants Iran at the negotiating table because he's seeking a peaceful end to this.
Okay, Kelly Wright and Gabriel Noronha, gentlemen, great to have you with us. Thank you so much. Great insights.